How to set your prices for your pooper scooper business in 2024. All right, I got some notes because I want to keep this clear and concise because you're busy, I'm busy. It's hot. We got poop to scoop and we want to bag that loot. So either you want to start a pooper scooper business or you already have started a pooper scooper business and you're trying to figure out how to set your prices or you're trying to figure out how to raise your prices so you can make more money in your business. I'm glad you found this video because I'm going to go over the basics of making sure you're setting your prices correctly. I'm going to base these prices off of even numbers because even numbers are easier for me to math. And these are all my thoughts and my experiences. I'm a business owner myself, but what I want for you to do is listen to what I have to say, think about it yourself and take from your own experiences, look at your market, do your own research because at the end of the day, this is your business. I'm just here to offer you some help and some resources for you to grow as a business owner, okay? Why is setting your prices so important? Well, if your prices are too low, you won't be able to afford to grow. You won't be able to afford employees, new vehicles, new signage, marketing, happiness, none of it. You'll just be working your butt off for pennies. But if your prices are too high, you won't be able to gain customers, and then you're still going to have the same problem if your prices are too low. Or you might have more problems because you'll have no customers. So you got to make sure you find a sweet spot, work within that sweet spot, build yourself up, build up your company, build up your reviews, and then as time goes on, you're able to raise your rates, and as time goes on, inflation happens, and you're able to raise your rates. And I really do think a lot of us in this industry needs to do a price increase, myself included. Last year, I did a pretty significant rate increase, and it added a lot of money to my business. It added a couple $1,000s a month, which is huge. That is so huge for a small business. For the sake of time, I just want to cover two methods of pricing. These are the main methods I have seen over my past 5.5 years of being a professional pooper scooper. We have our tiered method. This is where it's going to be based off number of dogs and frequency. This is how I have my pricing model set up. And then there's the flat rate model. It's usually ranged from 1 to 4 dogs. It doesn't matter how many dogs you have. It's just a flat rate across the board. Easy peasy. But here's the thing. I'm going to give you some pros and cons of both because I've done both. I'll start with the tiered method because that's what I use. That's what I'm the most comfortable with. The tiered method gets you more specific. I feel like it really gets you dialed in. It gets me dialed in. But it's complicated. It takes more time. I need to know how many dogs there are. I need to know the size of the yard, the frequency you want to have service. And then when you're coming on board with us, I need to know how long it has been since the last cleaning because I need to be able to price that accordingly because a lot of times people are coming on board and they haven't cleaned their yard in like 3 months, 5 months, a year. That's a lot of poop. That is a lot of poop. So there is a big difference between 5 months worth of waste with 1 dog or 5 months worth of waste for 6 dogs, 5 dogs, what have you. So I do feel like knowing all of those metrics, how many dogs, how long it's been, the size of yard, because the size of yard is very, very important. Say, for instance, if there's 5 dogs and they have a small standard size yard, 1/8 of an acre or less, I know that I'm still going to be able to scoop that yard for that first time clean in probably under an hour, even if it's been, 5 or 6 months since the last clean. But if I'm getting sent to a property that is an acre, like that's so much land to have to scoop and look and scoop all this dog poop because there's so many different areas where the dog poop can be hanging out. I need to make sure that I'm pricing that right because that is when things get very, very, very time consuming. But this method also takes more time to get together. The onboarding process and the quoting process takes longer. And I have found it's been quite difficult to use automatic quoting software to dial in my pricing. I've tried. That's another video for another time. So that's the con, is it's more time consuming. Pro is you get more dialed in. With the flat rate, the pro is it's easy. It's easy. It's a flat rate. Okay. You got 1 to 4 dogs? Great. You're going to pay this amount of money and it's easy for the customer and it's easy for you. Here's where I think the con lies, is somebody that has one dog is paying the same price for 3 dogs or for 4 dogs. And another pro is, say for instance, you know that you need to make $150 or $100 per customer, right? And you want to have 125 customers. So let's say $100 times 125. You tell me what that math is. And you're able to make that for the month. You know exactly what you need to bring in. There's no guessing work because your customers, they pay the same price. So it is much more basic. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, is that a bad way to go? I don't know. Why didn't I decide to do it that way? I don't know, because my brain likes to be complicated and I like to have the different levels and the different tiers. If you do a flat rate model, go ahead and comment down below what the pros and cons are, because I'm actually kind of drawing a blank on what the cons are now that I'm putting this video together. Huh, imagine that. Let's talk about recurring service. What kind of reoccurring service is this? You're going to have your weekly customers. This is where they're going to want to use your service one time a week. Your bi-weekly, which is every other week. You're going to have your monthly customers. Sometimes you're going to want people that want 2 times a week, which is nice. We love that, especially if they're smaller yards. We absolutely love that. The majority of my customers are weekly, so I'm going to base what I'm doing, and we're going to base these numbers off of our weekly customers because that is really our bread and butter. And remember earlier I said that I want to base this off of even numbers because I can't really math very well. So we're going to set it at $100 a month. Let's say each one of our customers, 1/8 of an acre or less, 1 dog is paying you $100 a month to come out 1 time a week. So now we have our foundation built. 1 dog, 1 time a week, standard size yard. And from there, now we can build. So say for instance, if you want to use a different number as your base price, which is fine, figure out what that base price is going to be. So then you can use the same math and the same metrics to build upon it, to get your bi-weekly price and your monthly price and your 2 times a week price. Now you want to set your price for your bi-weekly. Your bi-weekly is going to be 75% of what your weekly price is. So if you're at $100 for the month for weekly service, bi-weekly is going to be 75% of that, which is going to be $75. But please note that most months you're going to be servicing their property 2 times a month, but I want to say 3 times out of the year, you're going to be at that property 3 times a month. Now from bi-weekly, we're going to go over to monthly. This means the person wants you to come out 1 time a month. I don't understand this one, but we get asked for it. So we're going to take 75% of what our bi-weekly price is, which is $75. Then 75% of that is, I got to look at my notes because it's not an even number and I keep forgetting, $56.25.
$56.25.
And I did mention some people want 2 times a week, which I love that. So here's what you're going to do. Do a little happy dance and then price them right. I want you to take your base price of $100 times that by 2 and then give them 10% discount. So 100 times 2 is 200. A 10% discount gives you $180 for the month for you to go out to their house 2 times a week for the month. Is this making sense? Are you tracking? And just remember, insert your base price. Do the same math, come out with your price. And there might be some of you listening that are like, that have your prices set at a certain price and you're like, there's no way I can charge $100 a month. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. My 1 dog standard size yard right now is $87 a month. I very easily could raise that up to $100 because my bread and butter, like for my business, is a 2 dog. Most of my customers have 2 dogs and we're at $108 per month. People for the most part don't even bat an eye at it. Like I was so nervous about doing my price increase. I thought I was going to lose so many customers. I barely lost anybody. Everybody is paying the rate. And it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I was like, oh, I should have raised my rates more. But I was scared. I was scared to go to that $100 mark. So that's the reason why I went with the $87. And when I was doing my price increase, I'm going to be super transparent with you. There was no rhyme or reason. It just sounded like a good idea. But I have learned a lot of things. I have learned a lot about pricing and structuring and knowing numbers, that now there's mathematics behind it, there's reasoning behind it, and we're really trying to raise the bar. We're trying to raise the industry standard, so we're able to make good money. We're able to bring money back into the business. We're able to hire quality people at a rate where they want to work for us, and they feel that, you know, they're being compensated properly. Because at the end of the day, yeah, scooping dog poop is not rocket science. It truly, truly isn't. But putting somebody in a company vehicle that has integrity, that can pass a background check, that has a license, that is reliable, somebody that you want to send to your customer's home, you need to make sure that you're hiring quality people. And quality people usually want to be compensated properly for it. And then also vehicles. You want your people to be driving nice vehicles, nice reliable vehicles, preferably branded vehicles, so you're riding in style. Now, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to have a full wrap. You can have a partial wrap. You can have lettering. As long as it looks crisp, it looks clean, and you have who you are, what you do, and how to get in touch with you, and the messaging is very, very clear. That's truly what matters. And all of this goes back to making sure you're setting your prices up right, because money is the lifeline of your business. It's the oxygen for your business. And if you price this way with the lower frequency visits, you're going to make less as like the gross revenue, but you're going to make a higher profit because you're not driving to the property as frequently. That was just a little side note. Now let's talk about one-time cleans. What are one-time cleans? They're basically what they sound like. A customer calls you. They want you to come to their house one time. Just one time. They don't want to continue a relationship. They want to hit it and quit it. You know? And you need to charge accordingly for that. But first, I'm going to tell you the different ways that you can charge. Flat rate, bill by the time, bill by the bucket. They all have their pros and cons. And I'm going to tell you about those. Your flat rate is easy. That's what I do. It's just a flat amount, and your customer knows what to pay. They know exactly what they're going to pay. Here's where the issue lies, is if they tell you it's been 5 months and it's really been 5 years, you're walking into a situation where you're going to be in there for a really long time, but you've already priced them, so it's kind of, you know, you're gambling. You're gambling. With the smaller yards, it's not as much of a gamble, but when you're getting into those larger yards, you know, your half acre, your acre property, that is where you can really, really run into a rough situation. Because with the smaller yard, you can literally just rake the entire yard if it really is full of poop. Crystal and I have done that before, to where we just went and raked the entire yard, and we were able to get in and out within an hour. So say we were charging $90 for that clean, which is low, it still only took us an hour. We're making $90 an hour. That's not bad money. That's not bad money. Now you can bill by time. I know some people that bill $1 a minute, $2 a minute, $2.50 a minute. Pros and cons with that is however long it takes you, that's the time you're getting paid for. So whatever your man-hour rate is, you can hit that. But you have customers looking over your shoulder, like if you have to stop and answer your phone, or you have to go get more trash bags, or if you're moving a little slower than they would like. They might be hovering over you, wanting to know why aren't you moving quicker. And then the per bucket, it's the same thing as like the per minute. Customers could be hovering over you, like, you could fit more dog poop in that bucket. Why aren't you using a larger bucket? Half that bucket is full of leaves. Am I going to get a discount on that? You know, all these different situations arise, but the nice thing with the bucket system is you set your bucket price, and if you use 15 buckets, you're going to get paid for that 15 buckets. So it is a more dialed in, a more accurate price. I personally use the flat rate method. It's worked out more times than it hasn't. There has been a couple times where I've been burned. Live and learn. And that's when seasonal in certain areas, I have learned to price higher, because I know that after spring rush, or after the winter time, during springtime, If somebody wants a one-time clean, I consider that a spring clean. And if they say it's only been a month or two, and I know it's been really snowy and really icy outside, I know that they really have not been out there cleaning it up. So I'm gonna price that as if they have not been out there since November. So November, December, January, February, March. They're gonna get a price for 5 months. Now, having said that, if I go there and it really isn't that bad, now I have the opportunity to adjust that price down. It's really difficult to go to the house and scoop and adjust the price up. I'm not saying that I haven't done it. I have. It's a tough conversation. It really is. And I had to say, I can't go any further. I've already been here for 2.5 hours. I can't scoop anymore unless I get more money. This is how much more I'm going to need to continue. It's humiliating. But I've had to do it. And I don't like that. As for pricing with the per bucket, I can't exactly remember how Jim does this, but I want to say this might not be the exact number, so it's kind of close. $45 for the first bucket, and then $20 or $25 for each additional bucket. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if you do the bucket method, or you do the per minute method, or per bag method, tell me. Let me know. I'm curious of how it works for you. Because this is a conversation. I really want this to be conversational. I can only make this video for my personal experiences and what I know and gathered from other pooper scoopers that I've talked to. But you that are watching, you're able to add so much value to this channel, and I appreciate you tuning in and watching and subscribing. I really do truly appreciate it. And to keep it consistent, I have tiers with my flat rate because I'm complicated, if you will. I want to know the size of the yard, how many dogs you have, and how long it's been since the last clean. And my one-time cleans are starting at $90, starting at base price, $90. I prefer the flat rate method, but my second choice would be like the per minute. What I would do is, or like per time, I would do it off 30-minute increments. That's kind of how I would base my price. So if you're going to be there for 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. That seems to be an easier way instead of being like, I'm here for 32 minutes. I did want to briefly touch about onboarding costs. I do get several customers that come on board that say they've already cleaned up their yard, they've been maintaining it. Sometimes it has been maintained and it's good. There's not a lot of poop left over, but then there's other times where there is a lot of poop left over because they're not professional pooper scoopers. Their husband's not professional pooper scoopers, and their kids sure in the heck ain't professional pooper scoopers. So their idea of clean is much different than our idea of clean. So even if somebody does decide to come on and they've already scooped everything up, their first visit, I charge a $20 onboarding fee in addition to what their regular price is. And the $20 is just to help compensate for the onboarding process for the virtual assistant, because I do have a team that helps with the onboarding process. And then when we're at the property, cleaning up any leftover messes that were old that maybe the homeowner wasn't able to get to, and we're taking notes about the property. That would be beneficial to put into our CRM, because Jobber is the CRM I use to run and grow and manage my small pooper scooper business. And we have all of the notes inside of there. So when we arrive to the property, if there's anything weird, like a front yard scoop, a backyard scoop, enter through the left gate, not the right gate, dog's aggressive, watch out for the little one, it's a biter, whatever it is, whatever the situation is, we have those notes in our CRM, and that takes time. And we need to be compensated for that. Whew. All right. That was a lot about residential. I think I covered everything I needed to. If I missed something, or if you want clarifications, please leave a comment below so then I can answer it and I can cover it in a future video. Let's move on to commercial. What is commercial? Great question. Your commercial is going to be your HOA communities, apartment complex, condos, dog parks, regular parks, businesses that are dog friendly. This is commercial. Commercial is priced higher. It's done a little bit differently. Sometimes you don't get paid right away. Sometimes they want to pay you a net 30, a net 60. Try to get a net 30. Net means they're not going to pay you for 30 days or 45 days or 60 days. Try not to go 60. Try to get it 30, if not 30, 45 days. It's a pain in the butt sometimes. But you can do green space scooping and then also dog waste stations. And this is where you're going to install or maintenance the stations. And with the pricing with the stations, I price per station. Right now, I'm charging $20 a station to service them. And then once I'm doing over 5 stations, that's when I'm going to give them a discount at like 20% per station. And your green space scooping is usually done by square footage. And if you are interested in learning more about that, if you head over to Poop Scoop Millionaire, I will include the link down in the description. My buddy William has put together an entire course. I mean, an entire course for poop scoopers. There's Poop Scooper 101, 101, there's SEO, there's how to build a Facebook, there's how to build a Google ad, there's documentation to send out proposals, best practices, documentation. The list goes on with the things that this man has put inside of this course. I am blown away. I am freaking blown away by it. It is behind a paywall. But listen, you're literally getting a shortcut to your business. So if you want to get your Poopa Scoopa hands on any of the information, and especially the commercial calculator, go ahead and click my link down in the description. Oh my gosh, I get dog. Click my link down in the description and sign up. Check it out. Level up. And make sure you say hi in there, because I'm hanging out in there as well. And a lot of the industry leaders are hanging out in there. We're talking on the forums. We're doing live Q&As. We're meeting up in chit chat, talking a little crap. It's cool. It's cool. And what I really like about it is because it's behind a paywall, people are serious. They're not asking dumb questions. I know people say, like, there's never a dumb question. There is. Yeah. You know? There's a lot that goes into pricing. Pricing is incredibly important, and it is time consuming. But I would say it is the most important decision you're going to make in your business. So you need to spend time setting your prices. You need to spend time readjusting your prices. As when I first started my business, I was only charging $55 a month, flat rate. It didn't matter the size of yard, how many dogs you had, none of it. I need $55 a month. Why? I don't know. I do know. 5 is my favorite number, so I was like, you know what, we're going to double that, 55. $55 a month. You get scooped for 55. You get scooped for 55. Blah, 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 blah. And I quickly realized that I wasn't making any money doing that. But it was fine in the beginning because it was just me. I didn't have a lot of overhead. But it was a slow increase because the people that I got at $55, it was really difficult to raise them up to like $85, $90. And I've had to slowly do that over the years. But with the new people coming in, I just hit them with the 108, 125, 150, 260 per month because of the size of their yard. And they either want to pay it or they don't. They're either going to use your service or they're not going to. You don't have to be charging $56 a month or $50 a month to scoop dog poop, $10 a visit. We really should not be we shouldn't be driving to a customer's house in a vehicle on these roads with these crazy drivers that are half asleep, going in a backyard with dogs that potentially could bite us for any less than $20 a week. It's the bare minimum in 2024.